Hello folks, I'm Wayne McGregor with Target Tracker Moving Target Systems and Business Development Group. Today what I want to do is, first of all, I want to introduce you to the Target Tracker Moving Target Systems if you haven't seen them yet. Right here is our base large unit, and it comes with two 2x4 brackets, 2 pins where you can mount a hunting target on it for archery, crossbow, shooting, and things of that nature as well. It comes with one plastic target. It also comes with a bracket to mount a foam target, which you see here on the mini unit. Now, the thing that's unique about this product is it's remote control. You can drive it around, shoot at it, work with a partner, and you can use it stationary. So it makes it real nice for retrieving your targets and things like that. Also, to give you an idea of the remote control, super easy. Turns right, forward, reverse, right here on the trigger. Super simple to use. A 6-year-old can use it. The unique thing about our systems is the ground clearance. This system here can go over a 13-inch high ramp on 2 wheels. So you notice that the suspension is very, very robust. The tires are made of foam, so they can also be shot, and it's not going to render the system useless. With the Target Tracker for firearms, law enforcement, military, and civilian CPL training, we use this system here. If you want to amp up and layer your training, you can make a simple fixture like this with an additional target to simulate hostage threat training. Now, if you're doing hostage threat training, you can say it's for a school, right? So this is a hostage threat training with a normal sized person. It's so simple to change and layer your training. So if I take this one off here, we'll put this small 2x4 in here, and now you have a hostage threat system that would be based on going into a school or something of that nature where there might be children around running, or even a child as a hostage. So it gives you a lot of versatility. The versatility in the training is virtually you can simulate anything, anytime, anywhere. You can layer the training using vehicles, have the system go around the vehicles, or have this part of it pop in and out around a vehicle. When it's mounted sideways, it actually gives you that action automatically with the movement forward and reverse of the system. But today we're going to talk about what we think that every police department should have, and truly every firearms instructor and trainer that's out there, and the guy that really wants to do a whole bunch of practice but doesn't want to go to numerous different elite or advanced training courses or instructors that are out there. So what we're going to show you first is really pretty simple, some unique methods to train. Right now I'm just shooting this right in my driveway in front of my garage to give you an idea of the space that you need to work with one system. Now, this video is coming from some conversations that I had with police departments that are already customers. So I called them up and I said, you know, hey, how's the Target Tracker training coming? They're like, it's great, we use it once a month. And I said, whoa, 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 you're not using it every day. And they really didn't understand how to use it every day. So that's what we're going to show you today. So I'm going to get rid of some of these extra targets and things like that, but we're going to show you how to basically use the Target Tracker from a standpoint of hand-to-hand combat, close defense, and things of that nature, so you can learn what we refer to as the art of aggression. Because truly the art of aggression is a layer of self-defense where you get to the point where you can't stop the attacker or something of that nature, or the threat, but you want to have the ability to change the mindset in that attacker, and we're going to run you through that. Now, the first thing that I want to talk to you about is repetition. If you go to any training class out there, firearms training class, self-defense, karate, jiu-jitsu, you name it, they want you to practice repetition, right? So you start to learn your firearm, your weapon, whatever it may be, automatically. So the first step in using the Target Tracker, and what we're going to refer to as a repetition room or area. So you can set up this basically in a hallway, in a room, in a building. Any police department typically has space either for the large unit or the mini unit. And then we're going to show you how to transition that into live fire. I'm going to change the mindset of that attacker. So in our Zero to Hero training class, we start all the students at 0 distance with the target. So if you look at the target's in my face. So even for civilian defense, law enforcement, this is going to be the threat or the attacker. So when I'm at 0, right, one of the keys is creating distance. So you can either run, get to your weapon, or find a way to change the attacker's mindset. Now, one thing that we found to be very, very effective is the eye of a person has a lot of nerve endings. It's a soft tissue. So what we suggest is an open hand with your thumb out. Very, very simple. Now, if you practice this repetition, I want to create distance with this attacker. So I'm going to go just like that, right? So the difference between this and using a stationary target or a dummy or what have you is you can actually control the movement of the unit, right? So if this is coming at me, I can go get back, right? I can give it some blunt force trauma right here to separate that distance, so I can at that point choose to retreat, run, or go for my weapon. It depends on the level of threat that's coming at me. Now, if you look at the laws and some of the things out there, if somebody's coming to beat you up or slap you in the face or what have you, sometimes it's not justified. And this is just my opinion. If there's 2, 3, and 4 attackers coming at you to cause you harm, I think with those kind of numbers, it would be more justified to defend yourself with the use of lethal or deadly force. But that's, again, just my opinion. So if this target's coming at me, I want to practice this repetition, right? So whether it's on my strong side or my weak side, I want to practice that repetition over and over and over and over until I can't get it wrong. So the nice part about this is if you're working with somebody else, right, they can apply pressure with the remote control. So this is coming at you where you have to actually give it force to get it back from you. Practicing these moves right here. Now, what we're talking about in practicing this, and this is no different than practicing a karate punch, a kick, anything like that, is the repetition to, you know, if it ever does happen, God forbid, that someone's attacking you, it's going to be a natural thing for you to go, okay, now I can run, right? Now I can get out of there, or I can go for my weapon if they have a knife, a hammer, another gun, anything like that. So the first stages of using your repetition room are going to be practicing pushing off, applying pressure, going for that open-handed eye socket, which will deter, or hopefully deter, and change the mindset of that attacker. You get poked in the eye pretty hard, kind of an instant thing is to flinch, to react, to get out of there, right? The open hand is designed where if you turn and your automatic instinct is to go just like that, right? Now if that person moves a little bit, you've got that open hand. So with that open hand, you can go for the other eye or whatever. If you miss one, you hit a face, you might be able to get them with a finger or something like that to stop that attack and to change the mindset of that attacker. That's one of the most important things. And there's effects of trauma that you might have internally if you have to actually hurt someone, shoot them, kill them, in defense of yourself. Now, some people out there go, oh man, I never have a problem with that, and da-da-da-da-da. Okay, that's too much bravado for us, right? We just want to get to the brass tacks of working on your repetition, learning how to defend yourself, right? And it doesn't matter, you can change over and go to a different target, right? Or a different size. Same thing, right? Now with the foam target, you can strike those targets, right? So you're going to learn, you know, some striking. Now from a police department standpoint, you know, say you have your morning roll call or what have you. Say, okay, you know, we've got, you know, 10, 20 officers here. Hey, you know, 2 of you guys go back there and you and your partner go back there and rotate on your repetition, right? And now we're going to step up the repetition a little bit, right? So if you are a civilian, right, one of the things that we use is, this is actually called a defender pen, has a little light on it, but it has the ability to break glass, right? So if you're in a car or something like that, you can break glass with it, and also works great as a puncturing device. So I might have that located up here, but if this guy's going to attack me over here, right, I want to be able to thumb off and practice my striking. And you can see in practicing my striking that it puts a, you know, basically a 30 cal hole in somebody, the same as a bullet. Now, all I want to do is change their mindset, but I've got to make that decision in a split second, you know, or even shorter. So if this guy's coming to attack me, you know, he might come on this side of me, right? So I might be here, and I might have to practice my striking like this, right? Now this could be a knife, it could be pepper spray. This is just an example with a tactical pen. So practicing that repetition is super important. Now, same thing when it comes to firearms, and I'm going to show you a couple really cool ways to train non-lethally where you can do it inside. You know, like I said, the whole idea is to make this part of a daily routine, or rotate your officers through it at least once or twice a week, if not every day, just so if they are in the field and something does happen, they can react without thinking about it. Right? So practicing your repetition is practicing how you're going to react. Now, I'm right-handed, so this is my weak side over here. My gun's over here, right? So I've got a jacket on, I've got extra mags right here. So one way to do this, this gun right here is equipped with UTM. I've got some silent blanks in here. This is a really good method of training. And I've got an empty mag here. So regardless, if you have the UTM kit, which this is set up for silent blanks and things of that nature, and it has battlefield blanks that make the noise, and then you can put man markers in it. This is a product that's really good for force on force as well. We're actually a dealer for them, and that's only because we use it in our training on a regular basis. Another good method is, this is a SIRT, S-I-R-T, laser gun, which you can practice your repetition and even, you know, shooting at stationary targets and things of that nature with our system. Now this is the 2 laser system, so we actually use this when we're doing firearms training. If a student's having trouble staying on target while it's moving this way, then we have them track it with the 1 laser and pull trigger with the second auxiliary trigger laser. So just to give you an idea. Also you can do it with dry fire methods. So it's not necessarily that you have to buy something to do this type of training, but it's helpful. Like this is a dry fire method right here, right? So I've got no bullets in here. We've got the UTM silent blanks on here. And one of the things that we're going to look at is practicing our repetition, strong side and weak side. So right now I'm on my strong side. So if this is a bad guy, maybe he's going for my gun, maybe he doesn't know I have a gun. If you're a law enforcement officer, it's really important to protect your weapon. Same thing if you're a CPL holder or open carry holder. So this threat is coming up to my weak side, right? So I've got some quick choices to make. You know, back off, right? First thing is I always like to get my hand in somebody's face. Look, I don't need any trouble, back off. Right now, I'm kind of shielding them from them seeing what I'm going to do next, right? So if he's coming up on my strong side, now I'm not going to be able to go over here, draw with my other hand. Kind of need this hand to get the jacket out of the way. in the winter months and things of that nature, which we're going to be teeing in some products that are clothing products to help build speed and agility and wear less layers. That's coming up shortly. But what I want to do is show that example, right? I want to practice that repetition. How do I get to my gun, or do I need to get to my gun? But I've got to make that decision quick, fast, and in a hurry. So I'm going to palm them off, right? This is going to give me the ability to get back and get my space where I can go for my weapon. Now the other thought process of that is, I've got this hand free, right? My weak hand. I'm right-handed once again. This is my left hand. So I can palm them off here, maybe go to the pin or something of that nature to change that mentality. Now, I'm going to have to make that decision really, really fast. So when I make that decision, right, I'm not hitting them really in a vital area over here. If I was going for the heart, the throat, the jugular, anything like that, that's a vital area. But my main concern is, really, I don't want to kill anybody if I don't have to. So if I can practice that movement in an area that's going to change their mentality or slow them down enough where I can take total control of the situation, either with or without my firearm. So that's kind of an explanation of how to go from hand to hand, close quarter, and now I'm going to show you on the strong side, which is a lot easier for me. So this guy's coming up in my face, I'm going to start to rotate my body, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now I can go for it right here. So that's how I'm going to react to that situation, and I might react like this and then go for the pin, stab them in areas to change their mindset. Now if I've got the eye and I've got the body, chances are from there I can retreat, right? I don't necessarily have to pull my gun to kill the threat or shoot the threat. But the process is very, very simple. Everything in training, like I said, is repetition, repetition, repetition. So we're going to show you a couple short repetitions with the UTM and the silent blanks. Keep in mind, while you're doing your repetition, you can back off, right? Fire, you can practice your mag changes, things of that nature that you might want to do. Also, to build repetition in all the tools that you're carrying. The other side of that is if you want to practice your repetition with pepper spray, right? You know, be able to get your equipment out, practice with it, and work with it in a quick fashion, because that's really the only thing that's going to save you. Now, when it comes to carrying gear, I'm a minimalist, and I think that my personal opinion is every police officer out there should be a minimalist. What do you absolutely have to carry, right? A pistol, set of cuffs, maybe an extra, you know, double mag holder, something like that. Maybe a pen, right? I always like to go back to the pen because it's one thing that we worked on with the Michigan State Police. They're huge fans of it. And the reason why is it's got a light on it at night if they need to search something. So they've got their flashlight, a pen, and they can actually write. It actually has a pen where you unscrew the cap and write with it. Now, say they pull somebody over and they're writing a ticket, right? They can write the ticket with the light so they can see what they're doing. If the person that's pulled over starts to have an issue, they can do the same thing with the pin side that they do with the glass breaking side. So it gives them the ability to have a secondary piece of equipment that is, number one, useful, easy to carry, and it takes care of light, glass, and writing tickets. So even if you're a civilian, say you're a woman, jogger, anything like that, and when you're out running around, you can have one of these on you. If you get thrown in the back of a van, you can break the glass out, maybe stab the attacker, what have you. So there's a lot of different tools that you can use that aren't typically labeled deadly force tools, but can be used in that situation. Now there's a lot of force in this moving target system. So here's kind of an example, and I like to start off a lot of the students with knowing the force that it provides. So you put your hand out here and then pull the trigger, right? So if this is a person, it's actually going to push me, and I can push back. So I think that's really important in your training, especially when it comes to realism. Now, talking about realism in training, I really want to kind of address, really firearms instructors. Everything, I'm going to say 99.9% of the things that I see out there are a stationary target. Now, that's great for your fundamentals, right? And it's good to work on your fundamentals, but you can also work on your fundamentals with a moving target system. So with this system, when we work on our fundamentals, we typically will start with 3 stationary targets and make sure they can hit 10, 20, 30 feet, and then we get them right on the mover. The reason for that is you're going to find that a lot of the things that are out there fundamental wise, how you hold your grip, how you do this, how you do that, you're going to see that every student reacts different. So one person might move to the right, one person might move to the left, one person might hold the gun one hand. Under stress, they might want to be able to do both, right? So we're talking about doing both. We're right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just run you through a quick little drill to show you how you can use the target tracker in the repetition room. Is simple. This is once again the UTM. It's got the black barrel on there, which signifies the barrel for the silent blanks. So we have silent blanks loaded in here, and we're just going to work on a repetition, and then we can work on a repetition of our draw. Now, if you're a police officer, a trainer, or a civilian in a cold climate, right? We're in Michigan right now, so it's kind of chilly out, so we might have a jacket on. Might be open, might be closed, right? So, am I going to be walking around most of the time outside in the cold, my jacket zipped up? Absolutely. If I'm in an area where, I'm going to walk around, or I think I'm in a dangerous area, maybe I would unzip my jacket, but you never really know, what's going to happen, where it's going to happen. So we can practice our repetition both jacket open and jacket closed. So the big thing is that we've seen out there is, a wild motion to move your jacket, right? Or people are pulling the jacket from over here to get their gun open. But what we want to focus on is using both hands. So one hand to change the mindset of the attacker, which is this, right? So if this attacker is coming up on me, I want to be like, hey, look, I don't want any problems, right? Hey, look, I've already got my hands up, right? I'm taking time out of the equation if my situational awareness tells me, hey, look, it's time to put your hand in this guy's face, or what have you. So I'm going to change the situational awareness, right? Now, start to take my distance, and I'm still all one-handed. I don't know if there's another attacker out there. I've got a hand free, so in a lot of quick reactionary times, you're going to be shooting one-handed. So, and the nice part that you just saw about the silent blank is it cycles the gun, and you feel the recoil exactly the way you would with your real firearm, but it doesn't give you the noise. So you can do this inside. It's quiet, it's effective, it's probably the most realistic way to train, but whenever you get to realistic training, there's a cost associated with it. A cert gun, you can run that pretty much forever. Change the batteries out for the lasers once every couple years, and you're good to go, is what we found in using it for the last 3 or 4 years. But the whole idea and the practice is, now if I'm over here, he's coming up to kind of blindside me. If I'm over here, that goes back to my decision. Do I soft tissue, stick him with a pin, or do maybe I come off, maybe throw a blow, create that distance, right? And then shoot the attacker. A couple other things that you can practice is, typically if something happens, maybe it's your family that's around, maybe it's other people, right? Is you've got to look at what the angles are. If I'm being attacked by this guy right here, and I shoot like this, well, chances are there's a pass-through that's going to injure the innocent bystander on the other side. So angles are really important to practice with your repetition. Now, from a stationary target standpoint, that's easy, right? I can practice an angle from coming down here, right? Or when I'm pulling up on them, I can shoot at an upward trajectory, so the bullet's going to climb up and out of the way if there's people behind them or what have you. Now, if I'm backing off and creating distance, you know, I can shoot, I can bring it down, right? I can bring my body down and around, you know, try to get them more up here so the bullet will travel away from any possible innocent bystanders. Those are all repetition drills that you can practice without going to a range. You know, thus our term, repetition room. We strongly believe that every police department, it's a must, it's a need, it's a have to, right? And the big difference between doing it with stationary targets and a moving target, as soon as this moves, you're going to fundamentally change everything that you've learned on a square range. And a lot of people don't understand it. You can argue about it all you want to, but at the end of the day, we want bullets on target, we want to stop that threat. So there's lots of things to learn that presents itself as the target moves. Now, when the target, you might look at it and go, okay, we've got a room that's, you know, 10 by 14 feet. Good enough, right? You got 14 feet to work with. Now, and being in a closed space, practicing that repetition will even assist you with CQB, active shooter, you name it. So as you go into the drills and the movement, and we're going to bring more to you on that, as you go into that phase of your training or development, you want to know whether it's a home defense plan, you know, you want to know where everything's at all the time. Be aware of your surroundings, your situational awareness, but as soon as it moves, totally changes the game. Now, I've never ever seen a bad guy in any kind of situation stop, stay stationary, put their hands up or whatever the deal is, and wait to get shot. Now, that's stationary target practice, right? There's no bad guy going to wait to get shot. They're going to be moving around. You got to know how to adjust everything that you're doing while they're moving to be effective to stop that threat. It's not even an arguing point for me, because if somebody says, oh, I can do that with stationary targets and this and that and everything, no, you can't. You're wrong. And the biggest principle and why is, as soon as that stress comes at you with that force, you've got to you're going to automatically start using that repetition, so you can be back here creating the distance and the movement skills that you need to avoid being killed. So if you get to a point where you're carrying a gun and you're not moving and shooting and practicing this type of stuff, you're going to find that you might not be prepared, and sometimes you only get one shot at it. So those are a lot of methods, but the bottom line is you can use the target tracker more effectively and more often in a situation where you have a repetition room or repetition area, and then simply drive it up some ATV ramps in the back of your truck or load it in the back of an SUV and go to the range. So hope to see you soon on the range. I'm Wayne McGregor with Target Tracker Moving Target Systems. Feel free to contact me. The information's at the end of the video. Thanks for watching.